Huskies fans in stores and really all over the state and right here in this newsroom are all amped up as the UConn men play for their 7th national championship. Let's take a live look outside Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, where the Huskies are taking on the Michigan Wolverines for the title. And UConn currently trails 33-29 at halftime. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Hart.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Fox 61's Tim Lato's live in stores at a watch party where students are. Tim, what's it like in there?
Yeah, that's right, Sarah and Brent, a packed arena here. We're inside the Toscano Family Ice Forum, and there are so many fans inside here. About 2,500, almost every single seat is sold here. You can see there is so many fans in here. Student-only event, of course. Lots of students here. Currently, the game is in halftime, so students are finding this a good time to go and get concessions here. There's so much energy here. There's both a watch party here inside the Toscano Family Ice Forum and also just across the street at the Joseph Marone Stadium at the RZA Performance Center. Gamble Pavilion, of course, is undergoing renovations, so this year's watch parties are a little bit different than back in 2023 and 24 when Gamble was open. Like I said, Toscano can fit 2,500 plus fans, and just about every seat here is filled. Cheerleaders, the pep band are here. It certainly feels like a game day atmosphere. The game might be on the Jumbotron. You'd think it's being played right here from those electric cheers from the crowd. Those started well before the game even started here. Fans had lined up for hours outside the doors, waiting to get in, hoping to get a front row seat, possibly see history be made from their favorite team. Of course, there are also a lot of boos anytime that Michigan scored or even a shot of a player or coach was shown on the screen. And of course, competing for national titles does not get old. The UConn fan base is hungry for more. Here's how one student describes the energy inside the arena tonight.
It's been really good in here. We're really loud. Everyone loves UConn. And even at the soccer stadium over there, everyone is going crazy.
And so it's halftime, a close ball game, but students have a lot of confidence in their team, even though UConn might be the underdog. Check back into the theme in a little bit. For now, live in stores, Tim Lato, Fox 61.
The Huskies are hot, the weather not so much. We'll see some scattered rain, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. Snow showers in parts of the state as we head through the overnight and into early tomorrow. We're not expecting much, if any, impact for much of the state, but still just a reminder of what can and does happen this time of year. This is the stuff that we're watching coming through Pennsylvania and New York State, and that will rotate through. Some of this will end up pulling to the north of us, and temperatures right now are above the freezing point, but we might get close to 32 degrees in areas like Torrington and Union and Windham as we head towards daybreak. For most of the state, though, we do stay above freezing, which is why we're not expecting this to be very impactful. And as we head through the overnight, again, notice this will arrive, and right around daybreak, some of you may see a few rain and snow showers. I think we'll get the kids off to school. I know some kids have off this week, some kids don't, but I don't think this will cause issues out on the roads. But there could be a coating of snow in some of the higher elevations on top of a parked car or a grassy surface. Otherwise, we're looking at temperatures near 50 by afternoon. It's cool and breezy. We'll talk about when temperatures rebound coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Firefighters in Rocky Hill responded to a kitchen fire at an apartment complex tonight. Crews were called West Street just before 6, where they found smoke coming from a second-floor unit. Officials say that fire started in a stove. It was quickly put out. All occupants got out safely. There were no injuries reported, but 2 people and a pet tonight are displaced. A section of West Street was closed during the response. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
A 23-year-old man has died after a fall at Sleeping Giant State Park. Officials say the incident happened this morning when the hiker fell from an unmarked trail. First responders found the man in the woods, but he died at the scene from his injuries. UConn police are leading the investigation into what happened. Officials say preliminary findings indicate the fall was accidental. The man's identity has not yet been publicly released.
Angry parents are demanding answers tonight as we learn new details in the case of an Enfield man accused of sexual assault.
Now, police say Anthony Federline, the stepfather of a 12-year-old girl found dead at her Enfield home last month, is now facing sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor charges.
Officials stress that he has not been charged in the girl's death. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson starts our team coverage with what a judge decided today in court.
The main issue addressed in Anthony Federline's first court hearing was his bond. He was originally arrested on a $1 million bond, but his attorney tried to argue it down to $500,000. The judge decided to keep it the same. In court, Federline's attorney said he maintains his innocence. On March 18th, police found a 12-year-old girl unresponsive in an Enfield home on Elm Street, and she was later pronounced dead. Federline was arrested weeks later after several DNA samples were taken from the scene. In a press conference after his arrest, Enfield Police Chief Alaric Fox said it was that DNA evidence, which they connected to Federline, that gave the department reason to arrest him on sexual assault charges.
Generally, that the work that's done in a sexual assault kit, and certainly the forensic analysis that's done by the folks at the forensic science lab, the toxicology lab, are of the highest integrity, and we do rely to a significant degree on the information that was provided by them.
Federline is not being charged in connection with the death of the 12-year-old girl. The prosecution said the 12-year-old girl had been diagnosed with autism. The arrest warrant also says the girl had trouble sleeping and pills labeled as aspirin were found in her room. The prosecution did express additional concern that there are other minors living at the house as well. They say if Federline does post bond, he should be required to attend every court appearance. His next court date is May 5th. In Hartford, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
And this situation has raised serious concerns about child safety and oversight.
Yeah, Fox 61's Kate Pattyfoot has more from parents who say they knew something was off with the former bus driver months ago.
Parents I spoke with say when Anthony Federline's stepdaughter was found dead in her home, he should have been placed on leave. Instead, they say he continued driving school buses in Enfield for Smith Bus Company.
It's traumatizing for the community in general.
Malcolm Frechette says his 7-year-old son rode the bus that Anthony Federline drove. Frechette and his child's mother say they complained about Federline long before he was accused of sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor, and nothing was done.
It was regular for his conduct towards the kids to be irritable, frustrated, unfair. Another thing that was a big problem was he would regularly let kids off of the bus without their guardian present. We had our complaints, and we did make a phone call and went personally into the school to voice those concerns.
Frechette says instead of it being looked into, it was brushed away.
We were waved off by the bus company completely. They basically insinuated that we had some sort of personal grievance with him, and our complaints weren't warranted, and implied that everybody was innocent until proven guilty.
We reached out to Smith Bus for a statement. A spokesperson says the company received only one complaint from a parent about Federline, and it was not from Frechette or his child's mother. But they tell me they called on numerous occasions. The president of Smith Bus Company says Federline was employed by them for 6 months and was fired as soon as they learned about his arrest. Federline also went through their vetting process and had no criminal history when he was hired. Frechette says he and other parents still have lots of questions and that his son will never ride a Smith bus again.
Transparency, some sort of accountability, and at best, policy reform or something.
Parents say they plan to attend the next Board of Education meeting later this month to get answers from the district. In Enfield, Kate Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Okay, thank you. Stratford police have identified a man shot and killed Saturday night and are now sharing new video from the scene. The footage, recorded by a neighbor, captures the sound of gunshots and shows a person getting into a car moments later. Take a look here. Now, police say 43-year-old Paul Bazzarano died from multiple gunshot wounds. Officials say the shooting happened around 11:40 p.m. on Woodstock Avenue. Investigators have not identified the person seen getting into a car after the shooting. Detectives say they've executed 5 search warrants, with more still pending. So far, no one has been charged.
Police say a driver hit and killed a 75-year-old Colchester man in an auto parts store parking lot. This was last Friday around 3 in the afternoon at Napa Auto Parts in East Hampton. LiveStar took James Bansimer to the hospital where he died. Officials say the driver stayed on scene. They haven't been charged at this time.
Glastonbury firefighters had to free 3 people from a car after a crash last night. Police say a driver, identified as Michael Corman from Portland, hit their vehicle and sent it into a pole. This happened around 8 p.m. at Main Street and Doug Road, and investigators say Corman was under the influence at the time. Now, the 3 people in the other car were taken to a hospital, but their conditions have not been released. Well, Senator Chris Murphy is pushing new legislation aimed at lowering costs for families and small businesses. He joined local business owners in Hartford today to rally for support for the Fair Prices for Local Business Act. Murphy says the bill would crack down on corporate price discrimination, which supporters argue forces small businesses to pay more than large companies for the same goods and services. A Bridgeport bookstore owner says small businesses should have the same opportunity to succeed without being penalized for their size.
For consumers, the cost of living is rising and books are increasingly becoming a luxury item. Yet, small businesses cannot absorb the loss of deeply discounting books and do not receive the same favorable pricing deals as larger retailers.
And supporters say the bill would help level the playing field for small businesses, while Republican opponents argue it could lead to more regulation and higher costs elsewhere. And meanwhile, there's more focus on supporting small businesses at the state level. A proposal from Governor Ned Lamont would expand tax credits for small businesses that invest in innovation. The plan would enhance Connecticut's research and development tax credit program, which would give companies more incentive to develop new products and technologies here in the state. Officials say the goal is to help small businesses grow and create good-paying jobs.
City of Waterbury is fast-tracking improvements to prevent another water crisis. Starting next week, crews will install a key valve on Huntingdon Avenue. They accelerated this work after last year's major water main breaks. The road will be closed between Kaynor Street and the Public Works facility for about a week. There will be detours in place. City leaders say this upgrade will help workers and reduce damage if future breaks occur. Officials also add no water service interruptions are expected.